Hello, everybody out there in Rumble X and YouTube land. Welcome back to Diego Knows. I, of course, am Diego, and today we're going to talk some more about Eat, Pray, Love. We're going to finish this movie, all right? Because I'm done with it. What is this, like 22 videos now? It's 23 videos, something like that. Hey, I went through every single scene, okay? And I give you a straight man's point of view. That's what I do here. I'm going to tell you what your boyfriend ain't going to tell you, your husband ain't going to tell you, your son ain't going to tell you. They're not going to tell you this, okay? But I'm going to tell you this, okay? A lot of these movies are just garbage. They're garbage, and this movie's one of them, okay? Now, I know you can disagree with me, and you have every right to, okay? But at least what I'm doing here, I'm not just telling you the movie's garbage. I'm telling you why it's garbage. I'm telling you why, okay? I'm providing evidence to support my hypothesis, okay? I'm telling you why this movie's garbage, okay? And it has nothing to do with the genre. I have nothing against chick flicks, all right? I've seen some good ones. I've reviewed some good ones on this channel, all right? I have reviewed every single episode of Sex and the City, and I enjoyed that show. I enjoyed it, okay? I reviewed every episode. It's on this channel, okay? There's several movies that I reviewed that I ended up enjoying. Okay, I went in there thinking it was going to be just more trash, and it actually surprised me. Okay, Thelma and Louise. I enjoyed that movie. Yeah, I reviewed it. I'd never seen it before until I started this channel, and then I reviewed it. I was like, oh, this was good. This was better than I thought, than I thought it would be. Okay, the next movie I'm going to review is going to be The Devil Wears Prada 2. Now, why? Okay, I know that's still in theaters. Okay, well, it's because I reviewed The Devil Wears Prada 1 last year. Okay, I reviewed part 1 last year, so of course I've got to review part 2. Why? Because even though The Devil Wears Prada was not a great movie, there were some good things in it that surprised me. Okay, I did not give it a pass, but it was better than what I was expecting, and a lot of stuff in there, they could have built a really good movie out of the material that they had. No pun intended. I know it's about the fashion industry, okay, but they could have really produced a really good movie if they raised some concepts in there, some ideas that if they had gone to its logical conclusion, you could have had a really good movie, really good, that everybody would have enjoyed, not just women. Unfortunately, they went the chick flick route, the no accountability route, the whole that whole I'm a boss bitch, my career comes first, because I'm white and I live in New York and I'm in my 30s, that kind of thing, so they went the typical chick flick route, and that's where the movie lost me. But there was some really good stuff in there, okay? You got the gay best friend and all that, all that crap, the cuck boyfriend. All that stuff was in there, but there were some really good things in there, okay? So I'm actually excited, or a little bit excited, to see the sequel. No, I know it's been playing already in the theaters, but no, I have not gone to go see it yet. I've not watched it yet, all right? I got to finish this first, and then I'm going to watch Devil Wears Prada 2. Hopefully it should be on streaming by then, okay? And then I'm going to watch it, and then I'm going to review it, okay? So The Devil Wears Prada 2 is my next movie. I decided that before I even did this, okay? But, and I enjoyed it. Okay? Like I said, it wasn't a great movie, but I enjoyed it, and there were some really good things in there. I was surprised. I thought it was going to be another run-of-the-mill chick flick like this piece of crap. Eat, Pray, Love, okay? Which is just, nothing but narcissism, selfishness. How come when men are selfish, they're called narcissists, but when women are selfish, they're called empowered? Why is that? Why is there that double standard? When a man acts like he's, God's gift to women, he's called delusional, but when a mid-woman acts like she's God's gift to man, she's called brave and stunning. What is up with that? Why is that? You see what I mean? Who wrote this narrative? And why me as a man, why am I supposed to agree with it? Why am I supposed to follow it? You see what I mean? Like, what about, women look beautiful at any size? What about that do I have to believe in? And why do I have to believe in that? Like, who's going to make me believe that when I don't believe that? when the majority of men don't believe that. Well, why do I have to believe it? Okay? You see what I mean? It's a load. It's a load of crap. All right? This movie deals a lot with emotion. That's why you got Julia Roberts here, because she can emote. Okay? She's not really that attractive. I give Julia Roberts maybe a 6 or a 7 on a scale of 1 to 10. Okay? There's a reason we don't see her in a bikini in this movie. All right? But she can emote. Okay? Her facial, with that big mouth of hers, her facial expressions are just take up the whole screen. Okay? So I know why they hired her. I know why she's a big movie star, was a big movie star when this movie came out. I know why women related to her, because she can, she can emote. All right? So when women see that, and they know exactly what that woman's going through, because they've been through it themselves, and blah, blah, blah. All right? So I know why she became a big star. For women, not for men. Okay? Men don't give two craps about Julia Roberts. Straight men don't give two craps about Julia Roberts. Okay? It's you women and some of the gay guys that put her on the map. Okay, it wasn't us. Okay, you want to blame us for something? You can blame us for like Chuck Norris. You can blame us for like Clint Eastwood. Okay, you can blame us for that. Blame us for Stallone. Okay, you can blame us for that. Okay, because we're the ones that put those guys, that made those guys movie stars. Okay, you didn't. Women, you didn't do that. We did that. Okay, so credit where credit's due. Okay, you women made Julia Roberts a thing. Men sure as hell did not. Okay, that's like saying men are the people that made Oprah Winfrey popular. No, they're not. They're not. Okay, women did that. All right, and you can see it. You can see it in everything. All right. So the problem with this movie is it doesn't deal with accountability. Basically, this woman is fleeing from any sort of accountability. She can't even take accountability for her own life, much less the things that she's done. Okay, this woman she's scatterbrained. She doesn't know what she wants to do. She knows there's an emptiness inside of her that her husband can't fill, which is why she divorced him. That her lover that she was cheating on her husband with can't fill. That's why she broke up with him. Okay, that stuff in her face over and over again in Italy, that can't fill. That's why she had to leave there, with a gut. That praying in the ashram, okay, and spending pretty much 99% of her time in India in an ashram. She spent 99% of her time talking to an old white guy from Texas, an American. That didn't fill up that hole in her heart. So now she's in Bali, Indonesia, talking to witch doctors and fortune tellers, okay? And she meets a guy who on the surface appears masculine, okay? But even he can't fill up that hole in her heart, okay? So, she dumps him, even though he professes his love to her after one night of sex. Now, ladies, we're all adults here. Just think about this for a second. Ladies, how many of you have had sex for the first time with a man? And then the next day, he's telling you how much he's in love with you. Let's go away to the island, just you and me, for a few days on the boat. What? Because I'm in love with you. You see how ridiculous that sounds? Yeah, you see, okay? So why the hell are you expecting me to eat this shit sandwich? Okay? Why are you all creaming in your fucking jeans when Javier, Pussy Boy, Crybaby, Bardem says those lines in the movie? Why are you all like... You have any idea how stupid that sounds and how that looks? Okay? It's like a gay guy wrote this. Okay? This is not the way men, not real men at least, but then this movie doesn't know what a real man is. There are no real men in this movie. There are no real men that were involved in creating this movie. Okay? This is all from Liz Gilbert's point of view. And Liz Gilbert has never dated a real man, or at least no real man has ever wanted to date her. Okay? You can forget about Coyote Ugly. Okay, she wrote that too. That's like a prequel to this. Okay? But Liz Gilbert herself, okay, has never dated a man. She wouldn't know what to do with a man, okay, if he showed up in front of her. Okay, she would cream her jeans and then she would be crying, okay, crying on the beach when he fucking left her for another woman. That's what would happen to her, okay? And then she would be the one screaming, okay, to somebody about how it's not fair, okay? She would be the one crying in the corner about don't leave me. She would be the one hunting him down, okay, gaslighting him, stalking him, okay, breaking into his house and screaming, but I'm in love with you. That's what would happen. But since Liz Gilbert is too much of a pussy, pun intended, okay, to find a man like that and keep a man like that, she would rather just do that stuff to weak men. So therefore, her dating pool is very limited. It's limited to weak men that find her attractive. Okay, and unfortunately, when you consider that only maybe 15 to 20% of the men that are out there are actually having sex with women, and the other 80% you women don't even pay attention to, it's, you know, there's a good majority of men out there, okay, because a guy who can't get laid is not a real man, in my opinion. All right, there's a good majority of men out there that are willing to fall in love with the first woman that drops some ass on them. Okay, and you see it all the time. They never make movies about it. Okay, but it happens all the goddamn. You've seen it. You've done it. You know, there's plenty. I'm sure all of you women out there that are average looking or above, you can think of at least 5 guys right now that if you were to bat your eyelashes at him, he would be like, you know, he would get all like, oh my God. You know, you see what I mean? You know goddamn well that's true, okay? There's a lot of thirsty guys out there. There's a lot of guys out there that got nothing but fucking porn because they've got no game. They don't know how to talk to women. They don't have any sexual experience or very little sexual experience, okay? You know goddamn well there's plenty of guys like that, okay? Well, guess what, ladies? Those are the only kind of guys that Liz Gilbert has dated, okay? And that's why she thinks she's an empowered, tough boss bitch feminist, okay? She thinks she's tough because she dates weak men, okay? But she ain't gonna tell you they're weak. She's gonna tell you they're romantic, okay? No man is fucking romantic, okay? Romance is a tool we use to get laid. We don't actually believe that shit, okay? A real man doesn't actually believe that crap, okay? An incel, limp dick, soy boy, beta male like Liz Gilbert dates, those men believe in romance, okay? Real men don't. I'm not saying it's bad and we hate it. No. Sometimes it feels pretty good. Sometimes when you're in a mineral bath, a heated mineral bath, out in the middle of nowhere with a woman, okay, and you're just holding each other, looking at nature, you know, I mean, that fucking feels good. That feels really good. We enjoy that. Yes. Talking about life and stuff. Yes, it feels wonderful, okay? But that's just a bonus. That's just the frosting on the cake. The cake itself is fucking, you know, hitting her with the high hard one. That's the cake. Everything else is just frosting. You see what I mean? Where romance is telling you, incel limp dick soy boy is all about the frosting and not the cake. He's all about proving how much he loves you rather than fucking showing you that he's high value. You see what I mean? He thinks that if he's in love with you, he demonstrates love for you. You know, he fucking love bombs you and sends you Valentine's cards and buys you flowers and shit like that and takes you to nice restaurants, okay? If he does all that kind of crap, it's going to make you horny for him. It's not. Okay, but because this guy has no fucking or very limited sexual experience, he doesn't fucking know that. So of course women are going to take advantage of him. They should take advantage of him. He's a dumbass. So what do you think Liz Gilbert is doing in this movie? She's taking advantage of these guys, these dumbass men. My God. It just goes to show you. Okay, it doesn't matter. You mean these guys, for the most part, these guys are well off. I mean, her husband, Steven, he didn't look like he was like, you know, suffering financially. Okay. David, the actor, I mean, he was getting gigs in New York. He's a working actor. Okay. Which, you know, 99% of the actors in New York aren't doing. They're waiting tables and shit, but he's actually working. He's actually doing plays. So he's bookable. So he's not struggling that much. Okay. At least he's getting paid to act. Most actors, like I said, are doing DoorDash. Okay. And then you've got Felipe, okay, who's a millionaire. He's a millionaire. What the fuck is he hurting for pussy for? Okay, if you expect me to believe that Felipe, okay, who hasn't had sex in 10 years because his wife cheated on him, she cheated on him with Big Dick Richie, and he's still crying about it after 10 years. He's still crying about it. Even his son, even his fucking 19-year-old son told him to get over it. That this guy is gonna fall in love. He would have with Liz Gilbert just because he had sex with her. You're telling me he had sex with no one else, no one younger and prettier and hotter, and he didn't fall in love with any of them? If anything, he should be crying about the 23-year-old, okay? That he bought a car for, that he paid for her condo, that he did all this because he's a millionaire. And then she catches him fucking a black dude, a 19-year-old black dude. Now he's like, you had my heart. You had my heart. You know, like you shouldn't have been doing that. You should have been crying about her, not about his fucking, not about his fucking ex-wife, the mother of his kid. Oh my God! See, they don't even know. They don't even know reality. This Liz Gilbert, she doesn't even know what reality is. She doesn't even know how dating works, okay? She expects all of you women who are stupid enough to buy her book and read it and to watch and pay your money to watch this movie. She expects you to believe what she's showing you because she thinks that she's showing you a reflection of the real world. Okay, she's not. She doesn't understand the real world. She doesn't understand dating. She definitely does not understand men. And I'm sorry, but if your topic, okay, and let's face it, this book is about love. Okay, it's not really about eating, okay? It's not really about praying, okay? All that shit is just bullshit so she can feel better about herself so she can find the right guy. Okay, that's really what this movie's about, finding the right guy, just like most chick flicks are about, finding the right guy, okay? So if you're gonna go into that realm, okay, if we're gonna actually put men in the movie, you know, humans with penises, okay, and we're gonna talk about relationships and stuff, then you gotta have a real man in there, okay? So that, you know, so that they can show you something a little bit more realistic. Okay, and chick flicks don't do that. They only show you the woman's point of view and they make up everything else. And they expect you to think that this is how men really are. Okay, most of you women out there, you've dated men, you know goddamn well, men don't really act this way. There are some, but I already talked about those guys, okay? The incels, the 80% that can't get laid, they act this way. It's because I'm in love with you. Even though we only had sex one time, I'm in love with you. Yeah, like that, okay? You know plenty of guys like that, all right? That's not a real man. If you want to give me a romance movie, okay, show a real fucking man. Show a real fucking man. Liz Gilbert is apparently a real woman, so have her fall in love with a real fucking man and see what happens. Look at the back and forth. Good example of this, okay? When I was a kid, I used to watch a TV show called Moonlighting. Okay, now some of you who are older know what this show is, okay? It's the show that put Bruce Willis on the map. Okay, before Die Hard, before all that stuff, okay? Bruce Willis was on a TV show called Moonlight. It's kind of a romantic comedy. Okay, he was a private detective. His boss was Sybil Shepherd, who played Maddie Hayes. Okay, she owned the detective agency, and Bruce Willis's character, David Addison, he ran the detective agency, okay? But they were always bicker back and forth, okay? He was always hit on her. She always shot him down. But she was very feminine. She was very feminine. She always wore expensive clothes. Her makeup was always on point. In fact, when they filmed her scenes, the close-ups, in her contract, they had to do a filter so that her face would be smooth. So whenever you see a close-up of Sybil Shepherd on Moonlighting, okay, it's kind of like a foggy grain a picture because her close-ups had to be smooth. She couldn't have any blemishes or nothing, okay? So that was in her contract, okay? So yeah, she was a prima donna, okay? And Bruce Willis was an up-and-coming guy. He didn't want to stay in TV. He wanted to eventually do movies, which eventually he did. Okay? But the thing about that was that David, one of the reasons I love that show so much, okay, it's not because it was a chick flick fucking show. It's because I love the character of Bruce Willis. I love David Addison. This guy was a happy-go-lucky jokester. He was a prankster, okay? He loved blues music. Okay, like the Blues Brothers, he wore the sunglasses and stuff. You know, he always acted kind of cool, like things didn't bother him. But he was very masculine. Very masculine. And he maintained that masculine frame throughout the course of the entire show. You know, he was never a crybaby pussy boy. When his feelings were hurt, he would be like, yeah, well, that's just how we deal with things. And that would be it. He would be like, because I loved her. You know, he didn't do that shit. Because he was a fucking man. He acted like a man. You see what I mean? And Sybil Shepherd acted like a woman. So to see that dynamic was magic. Was, oh my God, this explosion. Because men and women really don't, we connect in a strange way, but we also, separate in a strange way too. I mean, it's like that mix of these two different chemicals. When you mix them together, boom, there's explosions, there's spark, there's chaos, there's arguments, there's drama, there's also fucking passion, and there's love in there. Okay? There's these two different chemicals, you mix them together and boom. That's what Moonlighting was. You had feminine energy and masculine energy, and it was incredible to watch those things play off of each other. Okay? There's none of that here. It's all feminine. The men are all fags. That's the difference. All right. So where we left off last time, yes, that's exactly what Felipe did. He told her how much he loved her, blah, blah, blah. She shot him down. She told him, I don't need to love you to prove that I love myself. And if you remember, when she said that to Felipe, she also said that to Richard when she was in Calcutta. She said, I don't need to blah, blah, blah to prove that I love myself. All right. So anyway, so what happens? So she leaves him there, okay? She leaves him and she tells him that she's going to become a lesbian. Oh, sorry, that's still yet to happen, okay? In real life, yes, this is the man that she falls in love with by the end of the movie. In real life, she did marry this man. In real life, his name was Jose Luis, I think, or Juan Luis or something like that. I think it was Jose Luis. I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, Jose, yeah. His name was Jose Luis, Jose Nunez, sorry. His real name was Jose Nunez, okay? In real life. She did meet him. I don't think it was in Bali. It was some other exotic location. Apparently, they did fall in love, okay? He didn't want to get married again. She didn't want to get married again, okay? So this whole movie is based on a true story, okay? And they would get married after this. After she wrote this book, they did get married like a year later. This book came out in 2006. They got married in 2007. They divorced in 2016. Why? Because Liz was cheating on him with her girlfriend, her best girlfriend, probably Delia. So her and Delia. Oh no, because the lesbo's name was Raya Elias. Okay. So she was having an affair with a woman, and she realized that she likes carpet in her lunchbox. So she promptly divorced Jose Nunez. I'm pretty sure that broke his fucking heart, because by this time he would have been in his 60s, because he was in his mid-50s when he met her, and she was in her mid-30s. Not like this movie where Julia Roberts is 42 and Javier Bardem is 41. Not like that at all. She was younger than this, and he was a hell of a lot older. Okay, so old man, young. Well, of course, this marriage was not going to work. All right, but anyway. So he sits alone. So, of course, Felipe sits alone on the beach, on the rocks, crying his ass off like the pussy boy bitch that he is, staring at the sun, playing with his pussy, his vibrator, all that kind of stuff. What else is new? That's been his entire character arc, is just fucking crying, okay, about his broken heart. Okay, and remember, he fell in love with the first piece of ass he's had in 10 years. That's what he's crying about. All right, you know what? I remember when I was in high school and this girl, my girlfriend, dumped me, okay? And I think I was like 17, and I cried for like 3 days, and that was it. And then I started fucking another girl. This guy's been crying for 10 plus years, all right? And I was 17 back then. All right, Liz packs up her stuff because she's got to go back to New York. New York. That's the way Felipe says it. Okay, she's got to go back to New York, hang out with Candace Bushel and Sex and the City and all that kind of crap. That's what she really is. She's a rich, white, libtard New Yorker who believes in her career and not in being a mom and not in having kids and not in being married, not being tied down, blah, 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 patriarchy, fucking she hates it all that kind of crap. That's why she dates fucking women, because she hates men. Okay, so she dates men that act like women. All right. No, seriously, it makes sense. The evidence supports the theory. All right. Liz packs up her stuff. She looks at a photo of herself with Felipe. Okay. Oh no, going to have to go to another country to get over her guilt for this one. Okay, so now she feels bad that she broke Felipe's heart. So what's she going to do? Now she's going to go to a different fucking country and go stuff her face and fuck a bunch of other people there to get over this one. Because that's the whole point of this movie. She's trying to get over her guilt for fucking over her husband, Steven. All right? Anyways, that's going on here. She rides her bike. She goes to visit Ketut, the fortune teller shaman, okay, the toothless old man. He doesn't even know whether he's 130 years old or 65. He doesn't remember, okay? She stole his manuscript. She stole his sacred texts that give him his fortune-telling powers. She Xeroxed them, okay, which she wasn't allowed to do, but she did it anyway because that's the kind of woman she is, all right? And she presents Ketut, the toothless old bastard, with a book. Now, the book is all of his sacred texts, but she photocopied them and bound them together in a book and a hardcover and gave it to him. So now he doesn't have to look through his old box full of scrolls. Now he can just open this book and read it if he knows how to read. All right, so that's going on. Okay. Ketut tells her, Liz, you heal me. You heal me. He's like, you heal me too, Ketut. Ketut. You're why I came back to Bali. It's because of you. Because you told me that I would be married twice. That one would be short and one would be long. And then I'll lose all my money, but then I'd get it all back. And then I'm going to come back and visit you. And you're going to give me you're going to teach me your magical powers. And that's why I came back. All right. You know, that's why I came back to Bali. And you taught me how to come back to myself. Look at this shit. You know how many guys were just rolling their eyes watching this like, like really? While their girlfriends are all like, the shit you all watch, I swear to God. Don't make fun of us watching Transformers after this shit, all right? Transformers is a hell of a lot more realistic than this. All right. So Liz is happy that she came back to herself. Like that's a good thing or something. She's a piece of shit. No, she's not irredeemable, okay? And there have been glimpses here of unselfishness, okay? She did, raise some money for Wanyan so she could build her house. Okay, she raised 18 grand. She did give her husband that she fucked over. She did give him everything in the divorce, okay? So she walked away with nothing. He walked away with everything, which is the least she could do, honest to God. I mean, he did make her buy that house for her that she eventually ended up not wanting, okay? He did marry her, okay? Even though she didn't want to marry him, I mean, all this kind of shit, right? So of course Liz says like, you're the one that helped me find myself. Like, that's a good thing. When the fuck were you not yourself, Liz? Okay, you've been pretty much a selfish bitch throughout the entire fucking movie. So when were you not yourself? Okay? You just fucked over the guy who's in love with you. You just fucked him over, okay? Because you dropped some ass on him. Now he's hopelessly in love with you. He's over here singing next to fucking Olivia Newton-John, staring into the pool, okay? So what the fuck? How have you changed? How did you find yourself? You're still the same bitch you were in the beginning of the movie. All right, Ketut says like, Ketut, never fly in airplane. No fucking shit. Ketut, have no teats. I'm sorry. There are no subtitles in the version that I watched because I have no fucking idea what he was saying. Okay, maybe in the comments you can explain to me what he meant by teats. I have no idea. All right. You like daughter to Ketut. When I die, you come back to Bali again for cremation ceremony. You will like it. When they burn my body and scatter my ashes, you can breathe it in and then Ketut be in your Ketut. Now, forget all that. How's that guy you've been fucking? She's like, Ketut, I ended it. Because I couldn't keep my balance. Miyagi say life all about balance. Yeah, I wonder where they got that from. Anyway. Katoot, I had to end it because I couldn't find my balance. I couldn't keep my balance. I can't do what I want to do if I have to be accountable to someone. And I'm allergic to that word. Accountable. No, not me. I'm a woman. I'm a boss bitch. I'm not accountable. How could I fuck around if I have a boyfriend? Katutse. Sometimes to lose balance for love is part of balance for life. I'm going to die now. You go to my cremation. Of course, she just cries in silence for like 2 hours. She's like, for the rest of the movie, okay? And then she hops onto her bicycle and she starts riding fast, okay? Now we're in the third act chase. Okay, every fucking chick flick has this chase, okay? It's the part in the third act where the love interest or whoever fucking realizes they can't let the person go and they gotta go run. They gotta go chase, okay? It can be in a car, it could be in a motorcycle, it could be in a bicycle like in this one, it could be on your feet, just running. Every fucking chick flick does this. It's a trope, it's a cliche. Look at Harry Met Sally, there's fucking, what's it, Billy Crystal running down after Meg Ryan. And I've never even seen that movie, but I know that scene is there. Trainwreck with Amy Schumer, okay, where she's in her heels and she's chasing after fucking Bill Hader, whatever, right? In her dress. Okay? What else is that? There was How to Lose a Man in 10 Days, okay, where you've got Kate Hudson is chasing after Matthew McConaughey on the bridge. Okay, it's every fucking chick flick does this. Every single one. And of course, this was no different. I mean, I have reviewed other movies with Julia Roberts. I reviewed Pretty Woman. Yeah, it's on this channel. I did. Okay, and in that one, what's his name? Richard Gere, he's in his limo, but he's chasing after the fucking prostitute that he fell in love with. Okay, at the end of that movie. Another Julia Roberts movie that I reviewed was My Best Gay Friend's Best Gay Wedding. Okay, where in that one, you have 3 people chasing. You've got fucking Cameron Diaz running. You've got Dermot Mulroney chasing after her. And then you got Julia Roberts chasing after him. Okay, so there was like 3 people in that chase. Okay, it's every fucking chick flick. I'm sick of it. I'm fucking sick of it. I'm not saying that guy movies don't do the same thing, okay? If you ever watch any fucking superhero or science fiction movie, there's always a big blue light in the sky at the end of the movie, okay? So I'm not saying that this is strictly a chick flick problem. I'm just saying fucking think of something else, for Christ's sake. I'm sick of the fucking chase. My God. All right. So while she's speeding on her bicycle, we get a monologue from her, an internal monologue where she decided something. This happens throughout the whole movie where Liz Gilbert just talks to the audience in a monologue while you're looking at something else, okay? So while she's speeding on her bicycle, clearly what Katoot told her makes her want to go see fucking Felipe, right? She's going to give us a lecture about something she discovered on her trip to Bali. It's called the physics of quest. Okay, that's what she calls it. The physics of the quest. The physics of the quest. She says, a force in nature governed by laws as real as the laws of gravity, okay, is called quest physics. She made that up, all right? The rule is, if you're brave enough to leave behind everything familiar and comforting, which could be your house or bitter old resentment. Now we see Steven. Now Steven was her husband, okay, that she divorced in the beginning of the movie. Okay, if you've ever seen Coyote Ugly, which I have not, and I'm not going to, Coyote Ugly is basically part 1 to this movie, okay? Liz Gilbert wrote that too. That was based on her experiences trying to make it as a writer while she was working at the fucking bar and dancing on the bar, okay? Well, apparently in that movie, the main character falls in love with a guy, Okay, like I said, I didn't see the movie. I don't give a shit. I'm not going to see it. Okay, but apparently she falls in love with a guy in that movie. Okay, the guy that she falls in love with at the end of the movie, that's the guy that she married in real life. Okay, I think in real life his name was Michael Cooper. Okay, she married him, and that's the guy that she was married to in the beginning of this movie that she promptly divorced. Okay, that guy. Okay. So she broke his heart. He was even crying about it in the divorce settlement meeting. He's screaming, quitter, 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 like that, like a little fucking bitch that he is. Okay? And so basically she fucking broke his heart. Okay? And this whole movie, she's been trying to get over it. Okay? She doesn't regret breaking his heart. She regrets the fact that it made her feel like shit. Okay? So anyway, that's going on here. Okay, and we see Steven, and apparently he's got a new wife. He's with some blonde woman now, and he's got a baby strapped to his chest. Okay, a newborn. Okay, and if you look at the blonde, she's got a wedding ring on, and so does he. So clearly, Steven met another woman, married her, and they have a family now, and he's happy. Okay, so she did not destroy him. Okay, so that's the good news. And like, she gave two shits about him. Okay. But now we get to see that, okay, the guy whose heart she broke in the beginning, guess what? He's okay. He's going to be just fine. He's happy with someone else now. Okay? Now Liz continues narrating. Okay? She says, okay, now, so what she said before was, if you're brave enough to leave behind everything familiar and comforting, which could be your house or just bitter old resentment, and set out on a truth-seeking journey, either externally or internally, and if you are truly willing to regard everything that happens to you on that journey as a clue, and if you accept everyone you meet along the way as a teacher. Now, we see David bow down. Now, David was the guy she was cheating on her husband with. That's James Franco's character. He was the actor, the young man actor. Now, we don't know how old Liz Gilbert was in this movie. Like I said, Julia Roberts was 42 when she filmed the movie. James Franco was 31 when he filmed the movie, but he's playing a 28-year-old. Okay, because it's clearly said in the movie, they do say his age. So David was 28. We don't know how old Liz Gilbert was. Okay, in real life, she was like 33, 34, but they don't say that in the movie. Okay, but Julia Roberts was 42 when she filmed this movie. Okay, so we see David, I guess he just finished another fucking low-budget off-Broadway performance. The kind where there's no costumes or anything or scenery or set decorations. He's just him and his fucking turtleneck. He takes a bow and smiles at everyone. The yogi from Yonkers that she was fucking. All right, so we see him bow down after stage performance, and I guess people are applauding him. So I guess he did a good job. Who gives a shit, right? Anyway, so back to her monologue. Okay. She was saying, if you set out on a truth-seeking journey, either externally or internally, and if you are truly willing to regard everything that happens to you on that journey as a clue, and if you accept everyone you meet along the way as a teacher, and if you are prepared to face and forgive some very difficult realities about yourself, then the truth will not be withheld from you. Okay, so in other words, if you abandon everything and go out there on a journey, okay, you women love that fucking. That's not a fucking journey, okay? A journey of self-discovery, in other words, being selfish, okay? And if you're nice to everybody that you meet, okay, and if you're honest about your fucked up shit, then God will present to you happiness and enlightenment. All right, the truth will be given to you. Okay, that's what she's saying here. All right. So, of course, she runs now. She's off her bike. She runs towards Felipe. She goes to his house, his house that has no, walls. Okay, he's not there. So what does he do? She writes down a little note for him. And the note says that she's going to be at the dock that he wanted to take her to. Remember, he wanted to take her to that island for like 3 days and that she refused to get on. Okay, well, now he says, I'm going to be there at the dock at sunset. Be there. All right, so she writes that little note for him. So back to Liz's monologue. If you are prepared to face and forgive some very difficult realities about yourself, then the truth will not be withheld from you. I can't help but believe it, given my experience. Okay? So she's saying this is what happened to her. Okay, she went on a journey, okay, of self-discovery, okay. What do you call it? She left everything behind, okay. She left her apartment in New York. Okay, well, she's actually living with her boyfriend, so it don't fucking matter. And she gave her husband the house, so that doesn't fucking matter either, okay. She didn't give up her career because her publisher gave her an advance. That's how she funded this whole fucking trip, okay. So she still had her job, okay. You know, so she just left basically her bitter old resentment, okay. Okay, and then she went on a journey, okay, of self-discovery, okay, externally and internally, okay, you know, and everyone she met along the way, okay, she considered a teacher, even though they all just fucking wanted to be her friends and she had to do nothing. You know, she had to do nothing to win their friendship. She just fucking showed up and everybody she met wanted to fucking get to know her and buy her things and buy her soda and feed her and show her around and teach her languages, you know, and teach her how to pray and all this kind of bullshit that just happened because she's just standing there and everybody wants to be her fucking friend, right? Anyway, okay, even though she does not have a very magnetic personality, I know women with magnetic personalities. Liz Gilbert is not one of them, okay? So anyway, people just want to be around her because she's fucking there. Okay. Anyway, I guess she has this incredible talent of turning food into shit, and that makes everybody fucking fall in love with her. All right. Anyway, so that's going on here. All right. Of course, Felipe shows up. Okay. He shows up like he's one of the fucking contestants on the fucking Bachelor. Okay, you know how like the Bachelor show or even the Bachelorette, like at the end, you know, she's got to fucking pick the guy, but the guy's got to stand in front of her, and if she dumps the guy, she's got to do it right in front of him, you know, holding his hands and shit. He's got to look down at her like, and she's like, "You are such an incredible man, and I love our time together, but your dick is too small, and I don't want to be with you." And he's just like, okay, well, that's what Felipe does here. Okay, he's summoned to the dock. Okay, so he doesn't just show up there because he read the note. He's like this. Okay, he's just like, just like that, like a fucking pussy, dude. Like he's on the fucking Bachelorette or some shit. Like he's gonna get a rose or some fucking. It's goddamn, dude. And of course the sun is setting, so you got the lighting and all that crap. It's just ridiculous. And of course Liz is just there in her fucking Freddy Krueger sweater to fucking give a little fucking speech. All right, okay, you know. And Liz says like, "I decided on my word." Who gives a shit? The word is attraversiamo. Attraversiamo. I don't speak Italian. I speak Spanish. Attraversiamo. Okay? Which is Italian for let's cross over. By cross over, you mean being fucking straight to being gay, because that's what she really means. Because she leaves him for a fucking woman. I'm not making this up, okay? Okay. Earlier in the movie, when she's in Rome and she's fucking prepares a Thanksgiving dinner for a bunch of Italians, even though they don't know what the fuck Thanksgiving is because they're not American. Okay. She meets this old Italian woman, okay, who looks at her for the first time. Just this old Italian woman just looks at her and automatically says, "Lesbian!" And of course, the joke is, Liz is like, "No." And then the other people there are like, "No, Mom, she's not lesbian. Just because she's not married and doesn't have kids at 42 does not mean she's lesbian." You know? And it's written off as a joke. And it's not a fucking joke. It's foreshadowing. Because it turned out she was a lesbian, or at least a part-time one. Like, what the fuck? The point of this movie was that scene was to deflect. Oh, maybe Liz is a lesbian, because a lot of gay people watch these movies. Oh, maybe Liz is a lesbian, okay? And she shot that down right away. No, I'm not a lesbian. Yes, you fucking are! God damn. So why the fuck do you expect me to believe this scene? She doesn't fucking love Felipe. He's just another fucking woman. He's just another fucking pussy to eat out. That's all he is. And I do mean pussy. He's more feminine than all the women in this fucking movie. Now, she says attraversiamo. Attraversiamo, which means let's cross over. That's the magic word. Now, where did she get that? She got that when she was in Italy, when she was in Rome. Okay, because they came up with words for cities like New York. New York meant achievement. Okay, Rome meant sex. Stockholm, Sweden, that meant conformity. Okay, London meant stuffy. Okay, so for her, fucking, I guess Bali attraversiamo means let's cross over. Okay, now we still don't know what the fuck this means. Okay, because the end here, Felipe wanted to take her to the island for a couple of days. So clearly she's going to miss her flight now back to New York. So what does that mean? The movie doesn't tell us. Does that mean that Liz is going to stay in Bali with him for the rest of her life? No, because her career is in New York. Does this mean that Felipe is going to leave his business in Bali and go with her to New York? No, because he can't do that. Okay? So what the fuck does this proclamation of love mean? It just means they're going to go on the boat and go to the fucking island for a few days, and then she's going to go back to New York. And he's going to stay there with his dick in his hand watching fucking gay porn. How is that a fucking ending? So they kiss in the sunset and they ride on the boat together to the fucking island, and that's the end of the fucking movie. All right? They really need to make a sequel. Now, I know that Liz Gilbert wrote a sequel to the book. Okay, which they never made into a movie. I don't give two shits. I guess it's about how they got married, how she married Jose Nunez, Felipe's character, okay, and all that stuff. And then I think she wrote another book about how she cheated on Felipe with the fucking lesbo, how she became a lesbian or whatever. And then she probably wrote another book about how she tried dating men after that, and she only found one guy to fuck, and he fucking dumped her pretty quickly after that, and now she's just a fucking old lady, a butch fucking old bald lady, you know, living somewhere, okay, in her big house with her cats, okay? Yeah, that's her happy ending. Well deserved. You know, I don't care, okay? I'm not gonna read those books, okay? I just reviewed this movie, all right? And it's all about Liz being selfish. It's all about her not wanting to feel guilt for her decisions. She's trying to absolve herself for the people that she hurt, okay? And she didn't just hurt Steven, she hurt a bunch of people, okay? But she doesn't want to feel guilt because that word is women are allergic to, is accountability. Okay, accountability means you actually have to fucking answer for the shit that you did. Okay, and most women don't want to do that. Why? Because most women are about their feelings, and feelings do not have logic. There's no room for logic in your feelings. You just feel something. Okay, so if you feel something, it must be the right thing to do. Okay, and that's a load of fucking shit. But women stand by this. Okay, and it's not women's fault. That's just the way they're built. Okay, men are more about the logic, regardless of our feelings. We will suck up our feelings if we know that we have to do something else. Okay, we will suck up our feelings. Okay, we're on guard. But the men in this movie are all ruled by their feelings, just like women are. Okay, that's why this movie is fucking stupid. Okay, because there's no fucking men. The men are all emotional. They're more emotional than the women are in this movie. Okay, it's a load of fucking shit. Okay, it's not realistic. It's not the way men are supposed to be acting. Okay, I wish I could say it's not the way most men act, but unfortunately, we got a fucking whole entire generation, several generations of incel men. okay, who because of feminism, because of movies like this, mostly because they grew up without a fucking dad, okay, because mom cheated on dad, okay, and so they had to grow up watching mom fuck a bunch of her friends and not be raised by a man that actually gave a shit about them. And so they had no choice but to believe whatever their fucking mom told them about the way men are supposed to act. And they tried that in real life. They realized it doesn't fucking work. That the guys that are getting laid are the ones that don't act the way mom told them to act, okay? And now they get resentful and they fucking sit around in the closet jerking off to fucking porn, okay? Or if a guy actually had a masculine role model, he'll learn from that role model and learn how to be a real man, okay? And men that are real, that are strong, that are confident, that get shit fucking done, those are the men that women are attracted to, okay? But those are also the type of men that Liz Gilbert cannot get a commitment from, okay? So she has no choice but to write about fucking weak, low testosterone, soy boy incel men like Felipe and like David, okay, and like Steven, okay, and like Rich. There's another fucking crybaby. The only difference is he's in his fucking 60s, but he's a fucking crybaby too. There's no fucking real men in this fucking movie. All right? That's why Liz Gilbert's so strong and empowered, because she's surrounded by weak fucking men. Okay, ladies, if you love this movie, I don't care. That's fine. You have every right to love this movie, but don't fucking tell me this is a good fucking message. Okay, and don't fucking tell me this is real. Okay, real men do not fucking act this way. Okay, a real man does not fucking act this way. All right, I'm done with this fucking movie. I'm done with it. Done. It's crap. It's crap. The whole movie is about a lesbo in self-denial. All right, like I said, the next movie I'm going to review is going to be Devil Wears Prada. That'll be coming out in a couple of weeks. I'm taking a little break, all right? But here, just so you know, Diego knows, and knows Diego. This is my X account. This video will be on X. And Diego de la Vega knows that is my Rumble. It's my Rumble, and this video will be on Rumble too, all right? So I want to thank you very much for sticking with me this long. I'm glad this movie's over. I could give two shits about Julia Roberts, okay, and her bullshit life and her bullshit movies. Okay, most of them are a load of shit. I reviewed Pretty Woman. It was crap. I reviewed fucking My Best Friend's Wedding. It was crap. Okay, and now I reviewed this one. Okay, and guess what? It's also crap. All right? So anyway, so I think I'm going to take a break from Julia Roberts. I can't fucking stand her, man. I'm glad she's just an old hag now. All right. I thank you very much for watching this long. I'll see you on the next video review. Thank you very much. Bye.